Welcome back to our channel where many individuals express a keen interest in discussing prominent figures such as Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. However, it is quite common for many to overlook a crucial figure from the Old Testament, namely Hagar, also known as Hagar the Egyptian servant of Sarai. Hagar played a pivotal role in biblical history by giving birth to Ishmael, one of Abraham's sons. The narrative of Hagar's life is extensively documented in the book of Genesis in the Old Testament. In this video, we will thoroughly delve into the life of this remarkable woman, renowned for her conflicts with Sarai and the manifestation of God's care for her and her son. It is worth noting that despite Ishmael not being the promised son, divine providence played a significant role in their lives. Hagar, an Egyptian woman, possesses a captivating and intriguing story as the mother of Abraham's firstborn with his servant. Hagar emerges as an extraordinary female figure, transitioning from a former Egyptian slave to a leader and matriarch of the Ishmaelites. From slave to leader of a people and matriarch of the Ishmaelites, Hagar's journey is truly remarkable. While most people are familiar with the story of Abraham and Sarah, as well as the narrative of Hagar, many often neglect to explore the linguistic, cultural, and specific aspects associated with these biblical characters, which are frequently overlooked. Hagar, in particular, is often marginalized, and people possess limited knowledge of her story. Although the Bible does not explicitly mention Hagar's origin, some scholars widely accept that she was of Egyptian descent. There is a possibility that Abraham acquired her during his stay in Egypt. The name Hagar has Semitic roots and can be interpreted as something related to fleeing. Given that Hagar was an Egyptian woman, some scholars suggest that Abraham might have given her this name when she left Egypt to become a servant in his household. While most individuals are more informed about Sarah and other biblical matriarchs, it is interesting to note that Abraham, driven by Sarah's persistent requests, eventually succumbed to her desire for him to have relations with his servant, Hagar the Egyptian. This act led to the conception of Ishmael, the son of Abraham and Hagar. After conceiving, Hagar began to despise Sarai, leading to a significant conflict within Abraham's family. With Abraham's permission, Sarai treated Hagar harshly due to her contempt, and fearing Sarah's anger, Hagar fled to the desert. In the desert, the angel of the Lord appeared to Hagar, instructing her to return to Abraham's house. Additionally, the angel revealed to Hagar that she would have an exceedingly numerous offspring. The dialogue between the angel of the Lord and Hagar is recorded in Genesis 16, starting from verse 7. The angel found her by a spring in the desert on the way to Shur and inquired about her origin and destination. Hagar replied that she was fleeing from the presence of her mistress, Sarai. The angel of the Lord advised her to return and humble herself before Sarai, promising an abundance of descendants that could not be counted. The angel further announced that Hagar would conceive and give birth to a son named Ishmael, predicting that he would be a fierce man with a contentious nature. Ishmael would live in the presence of all his brothers. Deeply moved by this revelation, Hagar called the name of the Lord who spoke to her God who sees me, acknowledging that he saw her even when she believed she went unnoticed. After hearing the words of the angel of the Lord, Hagar returned to Sarah and eventually gave birth to Ishmael. Ishmael became the father of the Arabs and Ishmaelites, with some Arab peoples directly descending from him. It is important to note that not all Arabs share this lineage, but it remains a significant point to remember. Hagar, of Egyptian descent, belonged to the lineage of Ma, who, in turn, descended from Ham, one of Noah's sons. Therefore, she was an Egyptian woman with a profound understanding of ancient Egyptian culture and language. Some scholars propose that Hagar possessed a high level of education and was a multilingual woman. Her ability to communicate in Aramaic indicates that she was not merely a simple servant, her value lay in her knowledge of various languages. Abraham, who spoke ancient Aramaic and Akkadian, facilitated communication with Hagar. We encounter Hagar in Genesis 16, where she is introduced as Sarah's Egyptian maid. However, according to Midrashic tradition, she was, in fact, an Egyptian princess. This tradition suggests that God miraculously saved Sarah from Pharaoh's advances by sending plagues, leading Pharaoh to conclude that it was better for his daughter to be a servant in Abraham's house than an idolatrous noble in his own. This may explain Hagar's proficiency in other languages. When Hagar began residing with Abraham, Sarah, and their group, she initially followed ancient Egyptian polytheism, worshipping deities like Ea, Seth, and Isis. However, it is said that after coming into contact with Abraham, she and those with him began to adopt the worship of the god of the Semites, the god of Noah. Thus, Hagar began serving the God of Abraham. As mentioned in the Bible, Hagar had contact with an angel who prophesied that she would be the mother of many peoples. She conceived a boy, Ishmael, who became the progenitor of several nations, specifically the 12 Arab tribes inhabiting the region between Egypt and Saudi Arabia known as the Gulf of Aqaba. These tribes mixed with other Arab peoples, including the Midianites, all of whom were descendants of Abraham. After leaving with Ishmael, Hagar never returned to Abraham, and Abraham did not take her back as a wife or concubine. It is crucial to understand this, as there is a mistaken interpretation of sacred scriptures suggesting that Abraham received her back. Abraham's second wife, Keturah, who was previously a concubine, was also of Aramaic origin. Hagar is commonly considered the matriarch of the Ishmaelite people, the 12 tribes of Ishmael. However, the truth is that Hagar was the progenitor of a people who bore her name. She played the role of leader in the early days of this people, and she was respected and revered. This specific people she gave rise to is known as the Hagarites in antiquity and in the Bible. They inhabited the region corresponding to Palestine and Transjordan. When Hagar returned to Egypt with her son Ishmael, she married again, indicating that she joined a new partner. Later, they journeyed towards the Middle East, leaving Egypt with Ishmael, who was now an adult and married. They established joint residence, and Ishmael married a woman in Egypt, possibly adopting a polygamous lifestyle and generating offspring through his multiple wives. From this offspring, a new community, the Ishmaelite Arab people, emerged, which still exists today and occupies the region stretching from the Gulf of Aqaba to the Sinai Peninsula, encompassing Saudi Arabia. The Hagarites, or Hagite, have always been associated with the Ishmaelites, maintaining a continuous connection but not establishing ties with other ethnic groups in the Middle East and North Africa. Thank you to everyone who has followed the video up to this point. If you enjoyed the content, please leave your likes and comments. Share suggestions for future videos, including biblical characters you would like to delve deeper into. I have plans to produce more videos on these topics in the future. Thank you again, and may you all be under God's protection. See you.